Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the Very Virgoan channel. My name is Veronica Virgo, and I'm here to give you your October 2022 monthly reading. Very excited for the cards I'm using tonight. I bought these after Halloween last year, so I was really unable to use them, and I'm going to be sharing them with you for the first time tonight. Very whimsical, fun little cards, little great illustrations here. And I'll also be returning to the spell casting deck that I used, I think in August. That will, I'll expand upon the symbology of the cards, and then I will also give you a spell to use this month if you so choose. And then, of course, rounding it out with my tarot dice. So let's get started, Scorpio, on your 5-card reading. The cards represent career, finance, health, love, some advice, and then the spellcasting card. So let's get started, Scorpio. Okay, for your career, Knight of Imps. So the imps correspond with the wands. So the Knight of Imps represents action, fearlessness. You see him charging forward. His horse is breathing hard. He is on a mission. He has a great fearlessness about him. The devil is riding shotgun. So it's an exciting card, but it can kind of also be a little bit of a dangerous card. I'm wondering if in your career you are maybe the person who is willing to bring in the idea that nobody else would ever suggest. Everybody else is thinking, but they're afraid to bring it up, and you're the fearless one who's like, let's try this. Let's just turn the whole thing over and go down this path. And people are like, well, that's really cool, but I'm kind of scared, right? So, maybe that works for you, Scorpio. You tend to have a very kind of fearless nature about you. You say what you think. So this is where you find yourself for good and for naught. So let's see how the other cards speak to that. Finances, Knight of Bats. So the bats are representing swords in this case. And again, we kind of have a similar card here, and we have 2 knights, which is really interesting. It represents an impulsiveness, defending your beliefs. He's flying his flag of swords, of bats, a certain level of impulsiveness. So we kind of have, similar entities here forging into battle, as it were, with this sort of devil may care attitude in career and in your finances. So maybe you're in a very high risk business. Maybe you work in day trading, or something in the stock market is what I'm seeing. Or maybe you work in a career where you kind of have to risk your life in like really high-rise construction, or window washing, or something that's slightly dangerous, but you make a lot of money at it and you get a real charge out of it, Scorpio. It seems like it's right up your alley. Let's see about your health here. I think it's going to be real interesting considering these cards. Oof. The devil. Who got the devil? I love that she's kind of like a cute little, almost like pinup girl devil. So if I'm talking to any female Scorpios here, you may be living life on the wild side, but you got some, well, let's just say this. If you are a female Scorpio and you work as a dominatrix, I think you are in your element. Let's just say that. The devil is very delicious. It's something that we all desire. We like to play, particularly since like in the last 10 years or so, the SM culture has kind of come into public consciousness. No more so than the release of those god-awful erotic novels. P.D. James or so. I don't remember what her name is, and I don't remember the name of it at all, just that Jamie Dornan was the hot guy in the movies, and I actually like his acting, but my belief is that those books are terrible. If you want to read erotica, like good erotica, read Anne Rice's books under, I forget the name, Anne Rockwiller. She writes a whole series on Sleeping Beauty that is really erotic, and she also wrote a book, I think under a different name, which I can't remember right now, but it's called Exit to Eden. And those books are really good. The ones about the 6 shades of whatever, no. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digressed a little, Scorpio. Please forgive me. So here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing someone who in life, in their work, in their finances, and in their health, likes to take some chances and likes to live life on the edge. And it's to be admired. That used to be me. And I don't have Scorpio in my chart at all. But in my youth, I was kind of a risky chick. And it was fun and it was playful, but at some point I had to start taking care of myself. I mean, at some point you become the like prisoner in the jar of your own making. And that's not moralizing at all. It's just saying you have to walk a fine line and kind of know when to pull back and know when to charge forth. Okay, Scorpio, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, you do you. All right, let's take a look at your love life. 9 of Bats. We're dealing with some anxiety here. This is what is typically the 9 of Swords. Some hopelessness, some trauma. You know, Scorpio, I don't want to step into, well, hell's, yes, I do. I'm doing a reading for you. Maybe some of this is the result of your life, of your loss, of your love loss, or the loss that is to come, because we are talking about October. But I tend to think that it's almost like this card could come before the others. Because sometimes when we are hurt, then we need to hurt. You're familiar with that saying, hurt people hurt people? You know, and if you're cashing the checks because you've got some guy in New Jersey that's a day trader and needs to have his ass whooped and he's cashing you out at $300 an hour, then more power to you. But at the end of the day, you still have to go home and be alone with yourself and your kitty cat and having these bats swarming around your head because you're mourning in the quiet. So again, it's all about balance. I highly recommend that you have a counselor of some sort, whichever type that you prefer, whether it's an analyst, you know, an MSW, a priest, or whatever. Have someone that you can talk to, okay? Because it will help you sort of burn off some of this hot anger that I think is driving a lot of your energy. All right, advice, Wheel of Fortune. So you are going through a major shift in October, Scorpio. And sometimes you're going to feel about as lost as the guy on this wheel. You're going to be like, what the hell am I going through right now? What the hell is my life supposed to be about? What do I want? What does that all mean? Why am I doing what I do? Hang in there. The wheel does stop at some point, and all you have to do is look up and see what it's pointing to for your guide. Whatever that means to you, honestly, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to try to over-explain it. Just know that the spinning of the bats, of the wheel, of your mind will stop if you allow yourself to kind of be fully present and realize that you might be spinning out, okay? Just let it come to a stop and then move forward. See what your spellcasting card is. Lighten your load. There you go. That's exactly what I've been saying. Take it easy on yourself. Cut loose what no longer works for your life. Maybe some of this you're able to let go. And some of it may be hard to let go, because if you have the guy in New Jersey that wants to be the next Jamie Dornan and be abused in reverse, it's paying for your expensive rent in New York City. But there's other ways that you may be able to procure that $300. By lightening your load, you may find a new, speedier way through to your ultimate purpose. You may find love again, or you may be able to reconcile with the person that you love. If they have been abusing you, absolutely do not go back to them, because you do not deserve to be with a narcissist. Don't beat yourself up through your relationships. I know I've lived that as well. Okay, Scorpio, this is a heavy-duty reading, but I think you need to hear it. So let me read you your Lighten Your Load spell, okay? If you want to do this, you can, or if you just want to hear it and come back and refer to it when you need some encouragement, here you go. You have the choice and power to remove yourself from a stressful situation or simply take it in your stride. Stress is completely voluntary and something we allow ourselves to feel, even if this may not seem to be the case as you face the responsibility that your life demands. Give your exhausted and tortured mind a break as you start to see things with a brighter outlook. Lighten your load and allow laughter to break you free from your self-imposed prison cell. It's the only way to strengthen your immune system and inspire hope while protecting you from the damaging effects that stress has dealt you. Sometimes we counter stress by trying to push through and seem strong, and then that just takes us further into oblivion. So think about that. Here's your spell. Face west on a Wednesday evening under a waning gibbous moon. Hold a vial of eucalyptus oil and a howlite crystal and say, "The moon doth wane this very night. Release me from my darkest plight. How light calms my active mind. Eucalyptus to unwind. Oil both temples place. Massage well, invite in space. Rest, relax, let go, release. Banish stress and welcome peace. Never mind demands from folk. Indulge in laughter, get the joke." So take some time to watch some comedy specials. I feel like I'm talking to somebody in New York. I really do feel like I'm talking to someone in New York, a female. Take some healing baths. Find the crystals that don't break down in water and put them in there. I don't know if howlite is allergic to water or not, but check it out. Take some Epsom salt baths. Do meditation. Ground yourself. Wear earplugs to bed. Drink lots of water. Do affirmations. And yeah, go see a live show in New York to just unwind and release and cry through your tears if you need to, because that can be a really beautiful thing, Scorpio. I love this reading. I feel like I'm talking to myself. All right, we've got a 7, we have Taurus, and we have South Node. So it may be that the Taurus is a person that you have lost or you are losing. That's about all I got to say about that. Your South Node is essentially what you're coming into life with. So your past lives and the habits that we bring into life, the tendencies, the grooves that we tend to wear again and again in each life, because the idea of going through life after life is that you learn the lesson and then you eventually ascend, right? So if you are inclined to do past life work with someone who specializes in that, I think this could be really good for you. But what you can also think about is how that you can change the patterns that you have had in your life and how you can lighten your load so that you can move into a space where you're not continually just going round and round on the wheel, Scorpio. My God, this is an amazing, transformative reading. I'm over the moon for it. 7 could be your lucky number. If so, just look for it to come up now and again and know that when you see it, it's reminding you that you're making the right choices this time, okay? And again, I just want to reiterate, Scorpio, I'm not making any judgment about the way that you live your life, as long as you are not literally hurting other people and destroying their lives through that sort of like, mental, psychological pain. If you are just trying to live your life and you're stumbling a bit along the way and maybe you make the wrong choices sometime, but for the right reasons, that's being human. Okay, that's being human. So don't beat up on yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Think about the patterns that you can change and try to move through the pain of your relationship, and don't focus on the loss so much, but what can I let go of to make my journey easier? Wow, what a reading, Scorpio. I think this has been one of my favorites since I've even started, and I hope you've enjoyed it too. I will be back on the full moon on October 9th for your full moon reading. I do plan to do a Halloween specific reading on the 31st. And I do believe I'm going to open that up to subscribers only, and we're going to have live readings, and we'll be in costume. It'll be a little costume party. So I hope to see you then, but until then, I'll see you on the flip side.